Normally I would say, I'd like to introduce somebody with all of their accolades, but this man needs no introduction. He is a friend of the show. His name is James Johnston. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Mate, firstly, congratulations on your golden guitars.
Oh, thank you very much.
How many is it now?
Took out 2 a couple of weeks back.
Nominated for 7?
6. Nominated for 6 and took home the collaboration with Kaylee Bell for same songs and New Artist of the Year, which was pretty damn cool.
Tremendous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It kind of feels like you've come up overnight, right? But that is 100% not the case. You have been doing this since you're a little boy, busking on the streets of Tamworth. Does it feel like an overnight thing for you, or are you vastly aware of how long it's taken?
No, I'm pretty vastly aware of how long it's taken. It's funny, even, when I started writing songs, I've been writing songs since about the age of 14, and really kind of diving into country music and writing country songs probably for about 5 years before I released my first song. And that included, 6 trips to Nashville, spending up to 3 months at a time writing, just doing nothing but writing songs and really kind of wanting to work on my craft. I didn't want to come out until I felt like I was ready to kind of call myself an artist and a songwriter. So it certainly wasn't overnight, but at the same time, things kicked off pretty quickly. So it felt
You've
like
gone from 0 to 100, right?
Absolutely.
Like you've just got all of these incredible accolades now, all of these people listening, you're on mainstream radio. It's just gotten so big. You're officially a hit maker.
It's kind of surreal, to be honest, because the funny thing is that it's been this incredible ride and getting to put out these songs and the fact that they're connecting and people are listening to them has been surreal. But for me, I still love kind of that. The core of it is just writing songs and being in the studio and all the rest of it. And I still love that. And I feel really lucky that I love that, that hasn't changed. I love doing that 6 years ago. I love writing songs, 10 years ago. And, I'm here chatting with you guys now. Over the last 2 days, I've just spent in my little studio in my house just writing songs, and I still get a real kick out of that.
Well, go on that, James. I mean, you've gone to Nashville. How different is the songwriting process? I mean, you write in your bedroom for years, then you get a chance to work with these big names in Nashville. How does that change your songwriting? Are they honing it? Are they changing your direction, or how's it work?
So I haven't done that yet. So this is the interesting thing, is that I'm flying to Nashville in about 6 days' time. And I spent about 6 trips back and forth to Nashville, but as an independent artist that had never released a song. And I would just go over there, stay in the local hostel, and then I'd just go knock on doors and say, hey, would you want to write? And I will tell you that 9 out of 10, or probably 99 out of 100 doors wouldn't open because I didn't have a song. I had no credibility to back me up. So any of the hit writers... Well,
isn't it enough just to have a guitar on your back? Don't they take you seriously
and
then?
Talent,
No.
like immense talent. How did you decide to just keep going and knocking on doors?
I think I just loved it. It's the one thing that has been consistent throughout my life is music and now songwriting. So I used to just go there, and there used to be this thing called Songwriters Rounds. So I'd jump up with a bunch of other artists, and you literally get on those by just going and knocking on the door and said, is there any way that I can jump up? And they said, yeah, on next Tuesday there's a Songwriters Round. Come and play, and there'll be 4 other artists. And then you just chat to the people next to you. But at the same time, all of those other artists are kind of were similar position to me. They were all just starting out. So this trip that I'm doing in 6 days' time, I'm going over there for 3 weeks, and I've lined up a bunch of rights with a bunch of hit artists,
Can
hit
you
songwriters.
spill yet? Or
Oh, no, mainly songwriters. A lot of people that you probably wouldn't know them. They're kind of the behind the scenes people that are writing a lot of these hits for a lot of the big
you can't
artists.
do Burt Bacharach. He's just died. So,
Not that.
might be a bit out of your demographic anyway. I mean, he was a hit maker too, but maybe a little bit older for you. But that's the fascinating thing about your path, is that you're not just an accomplished singer of all different genres. You actually do write your own music. And there's a song that really resonates with my youngest son. It's called Anything Like Me. And I love it because it's a song about your youngest son and wondering whether or not he will grow up to be anything like you. But it's one of those things, it touches me as a mum and it touches my son in a different way. That was a really personal song, right?
Yeah, it was. I wrote that song without any expectation. I just really felt like that is something that I just wanted to say. And it's interesting, when I first decided to release music, the thing that I really wanted to do was just be completely honest with my story, right? I say I've been doing music my whole life. I've been making my living through music my whole life. But so often I was wearing different hats and I was doing covers and I was kind of playing different characters of sorts. I'd be one day I'd be doing a corporate gig and I'd be Michael Bublé for the day, or I'd be Bruno Mars or whatever. And I think the thing with this and my career is that I really just wanted to be honest to myself. When I come here and I chat to you, I'm an open book. I'll tell you my whole story, and I wanted that same feeling to come through my music. And Anything Like Me was just an example of that. It was just what I was living in that moment, and it was my story, and I was just hoping that other people would kind of resonate with that story as well.
And Raised Like That has achieved ARIA Gold. I mean, it's incredible statistics. I think you were the first independent artist in 21 years, right, to achieve that.
Yeah.
Really outstanding. But that is also the story of your life, right?
Yeah. Raised Like That is just exactly my story. That was a really easy song to write. I say that I write so many songs and some days it's an absolute grind. That song wrote itself in about 45 minutes. And I'd say it wrote itself. It was, sometimes you just get a gift, and that was one of those. I sat down in my studio, I created the drum beat, and that's how I started. And then I just started singing, and these lyrics just kind of came out of me, and it was just exactly my story. Every word of that song is my story. And
that's the encouragement you've got to give to young artists, especially those that are doing the Idols and the Talent Quest, is that you've got to put yourself out there. If you want to be unique, all right, you need to, I suppose, be honest, and don't try and fake it. Don't try and come up with a story you've heard somewhere else. Put your personal experience in there, and that's how you grow your fan base.
Absolutely. The one thing I'd say with that, though, is that when it comes to songwriting, so often it is just writing so much the bad stuff out to be able to be really honest with the writing that you want to do.
I thought you got to leave the bad stuff in. I mean, so what if your dog dies or you have a bad bank balance?
The idea of the bad stuff being like just writing all the cliches.
The bad lyrics, right?
All the bad lyrics.
Yeah.
Like I wrote this. There was, I talk about that year. I wrote 250 songs that year. There was 500 songs that I wrote before that. So there was just, I'd written so many songs, and trust me, so many of the songs were terrible songs, right? But I learned something by going through that process. So when
how do you know they were terrible? You haven't launched them on the public, James.
We want more,
Trust me,
right?
There is some bad songs that I've written. There is plenty of bad songs out there.
Now, I know that you were in your hometown of Wingham, New South Wales at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I actually went down and saw my mum and my sister in Wingham just after New Year's. And the town is so incredibly proud of you. You just held up and celebrated. And it's this little country town, for people who don't know, it's this little country town in New South Wales. And you are just revered. I just love the feeling of support that you get as soon as anybody mentions your name.
It's been absolutely incredible. Mum and Dad still live in Wingham, or on the outskirts. They still have the farm back there.
Right.
And they tell me all the time. They said every shop they go into, everyone's just like, we're watching and really proud. And it's great because I celebrate that town so much. Wingham is so much a part of my story and so much a part of even my musical story now. So many of the songs that I've written and released are about that part of my life. And it's just really exciting. And somebody actually came up to me the other day and they said, hey, and it was just a really personal thing. I was just walking along and they just said, hey, I just want to let you know that a bunch of kids that my son goes to school with are really excited because they see you as somebody that as getting out of Wingham and has done something really cool and
brilliant
and something different. And that was really cool. That was actually meant just such a huge amount to me because I know as a kid growing up in Wingham, sometimes that world seems pretty small. But it's cool that I can, some kids out there are kind of looking up and being like, oh, I can do anything.
And kids all over Australia, like my two boys begged to have the day off today. Begged, and I do mean
you should have brought them
begged,
in here.
bribed, the whole lot to have the day off school so that they could come and meet you in person.
Tough mum, James, really.
I was like, I just can't give you the day off school. We're 4 weeks in. But, you've obviously got fans that are adults and kids alike. Do your own two boys, or certainly not your youngest one because he's just a little fella, but does your oldest son really know who you are yet? Does he know how famous you are?
He, you know what? I bring my family to so much of the journey with me. Like they come on the road with me a lot, and I think he enjoys it. It's funny. My oldest has become quite protective of me. He's just like, I feel like he's my little bodyguard or something. But he's great, and My youngest is definitely going to be, I think, the little muso in the family, though. He's only 1, and already he's like out there drumming, and he's got great timing and rhythm. And I'm like, he's probably going to be the muso, and I think my oldest will be the manager, or
good plan, right?
Maybe a bit more tech. You might be the lighting guy or something. I think.
See, the family business of music is the way to go. I mean, it's in people's hearts. It changes people's states. I mean, if you want to get metaphysical about the whole thing, but to bring the family and the fact that your kids are growing up that way, whether they follow you or not, that spirit, that energy of being free, that energy of putting themselves out there will be just part of what they do.
Absolutely. And, it's such a big part of, my career, but, so much, most of my time is being a dad, and, so that's a part of it. But at the same time, they're just kind of normal kids growing up, living their life. So,
does your wife sing? Is
no.
it so it's not going to be a 4-piece band?
No,
or anything?
It's not going to be a 4-piece band. No.
No Valentine's in the shower, yeah. Okay.
Oh, God, that's a whole different thing.
No, couples do sing in the shower. Look, seriously.
He's blushing, James. He's just backed himself into a corner.
No, my wife and I do Sonny
now
and
you
Cher's.
know what they do in the shower.
That's right.
Hey, we did Sonny and Cher's I Got Your Baby karaoke. I mean, surely you can do one of your songs with your late.
That could be the next hit, I think.